I won't hurt anybody.
Yeah.
1 second. Let me let my dog out.
Hey guys, Infidel 1258 here. Hope you're doing well. Hope you are having a good day. I am joined by special guest Blaze Coast, or just Blaze, and he's just putting his pooch out. But we're going to be having a chat today about Splinterlands. We're going to be talking about the big changes with the team. Hopefully, talk about even just there's going to be some conversation around like frustration and where we're at. And I know some of you are walking in that. So I hope that is going to be something that is helpful and not just needlessly, whiny. Like that's where my heart's at. Like I'm feeling frustrated, but I want to keep it constructive because truth is, we've got investments. We want to see them thrive. And the truth is this week was like a bit of an acknowledgement by the team that things aren't where they need to be. And yet that doesn't necessarily mean that we have to be shaken or torn or like terrified so we'll get into all of that, but also just hoping to hang out and see what you guys are wanting to talk about. But it's been a long while since we've done we were live last week for the public, but today I'm going to be on for about 2 hours, maybe just a little bit under. And there's just tons of things, man. Like I'm moving into the modern format. I've like abandoned wild, the Xbot changes and how they're trying to take a fee. I'm just not like, no, I'll play the game. Cards are down a lot, but man, I'm looking at buying some stuff. What if SPS goes, like it touched new lows recently? What if it keeps going? Where would I start being a buyer? And so just so many things to talk about. Blaze, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
First of all, since not everybody's going to know, how do we know each other? How long you've been, give me like a 1 minute on your story and why we're talking about Splinterlands together.
Yeah, well, it's one of the Web3 games that I gravitated towards more than any other game out there. I've had some successes in the past, and this is one of those long-term investments that I decided to DCA into over the years, and it's been a great experience.
Totally.
Came across you as one of your YouTube videos, and then I hit you up to join a guild because I was running around without a guild, seeing everybody get these Gladius cards, and then I dove it down that rabbit hole. I was like, oh, I'm missing the boat on this, so I jumped in with you guys last year. It's been almost a year now. I think it was November when I joined, so it's been a great experience. I've played just about every day. And yeah, I really enjoy the game. I mean, just everything else aside, the game itself is a fun game.
Yeah, I love hearing that because that's true. And people will say things that, that this sort of collectible card game is not going to be for everybody. I get that, but some of the haters will say that there's just no entertainment here whatsoever, and I can't even entertain that conversation. I mean, for one, I've been playing it for 5 years and I still play it. Yes, part of the picture and part of the excitement and part of the invitation and the joy or the desire to keep coming back does have some part to do with the financial opportunity that can be wrapped up in it. But it by no means is that the exclusive sort of justification for wanting to play it. I spent an hour this morning playing. I'm fighting in modern now. And maybe we'll talk more about this later, but I'm moving into modern because I was using Xbox to deal with my wild, and wild is permissible to do so I wasn't breaking any terms of service. But Xbot, nothing against them, but they're making a move and trying to find new revenue streams, and so they're changing how they charge their users. And I'm just like, no, I'll play the game. I don't want to share any of it, and frankly, I've been missing playing the game, and so I still was playing when Xbot was in there, but now I'm grinding. Like I played 40 matches today or something, and like I'm gonna do my best to stay on top of it, and I'm having fun playing the game and exploring modern, finding the totally different play style. So I mean, I just don't get it. You said it's entertaining. I totally agree. When people say it's not, man, everything from team construction, like buying the right cards, upgrading the right monsters at the right levels, finding the cool synergies, putting the right monsters on the field with a given rule set or mana cap, all that to me is super entertaining. Let me see, we got 9 people hanging out. Drop a comment, guys. Let me know who's out there. I'd love to hear what's on your minds and how you guys are how you're doing. I see Heraton Mukadafi. Love that name, dude. It's got some punch in it. And then I got Gregory's hanging out. Thanks, buddy, for popping by. Hello, all. Looking forward to hearing your thoughts on the town hall for sure. Bree and Dave, old school. Bree and Dave coming like, I mean, honestly, probably since day one, I think we're hanging out. Virus, good to see you, buddy. I was trying to catch the your conversation, Virus, with and you guys should go check out the last, what's it, Splinter, the Twitch, Twitch is wrapping up. Splinterlands TV is wrapping up, and so you're going to see some of your maybe favorite content creators wrapping up over there until the October 1st. So if you guys have been enjoying Splinterlands TV, recognize that that's coming to an end, and go support your you know, your faves. Go listen to them as they kind of sign off for the final time. Last night, After Sound, Darkest Night, and I saw Virus popped on. I didn't get to finish it this morning because I got called into a meeting, but I'm definitely gonna check it out, man. I'm excited to see, as much as everything has been crazy, and let's maybe transition here a little bit, Blaze, and we'll talk into the town hall. We'll talk into some of the disappointment, because there is room for that for sure. And but man, I'm also feeling some excitement. Where are you at with the town hall, with the layoffs, with, you know, aggro being, I think, you know, I don't think he was pushed. I think he was probably, you know, there's probably a conversation there. Where do you want to go? Like, what do you think about this stuff? There's some big changes here.
Yeah. There's a pick an alley here. Yeah, no, it's I think change was needed, right? So it's same as the game itself. Like, I play every day, but I'm missing, it's like we almost have to find a reason of why we're playing. You know, other than being entertaining, we need more events and more challenges and some structure to it. I saw somebody, I don't know if it was After Sound, somebody mentioned or somebody on Twitter mentioned finding a way, like checking records of, like, you know, me versus you, how we've competed against each other over the past. What's the record, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we can add some excitement into the game and some more depth of making it engaging.
Mm-hmm.
But same with, so what happened? You know, the surprising cuts again in staff, and
yep.
That just goes back. I think you and I were talking earlier in regards to management, right? Looking from the outside in, I was a successful in the sales and marketing industry for over a decade, and you know, I was able to retire early and just do crypto full time. And looking at their structure, I knew there was something missing. I've reached out to them, but they haven't replied back. You know, I'll DM them, so it just shows there too, like, engagement with the community. That I already kind of, like, you know, said, okay, they want to do it on their own. They don't, you know, even a 5-minute call, just something simple, and they never, you know, got back to me. I'm like, oh, that's fine. You know what I mean? I'm not looking for work, but all I'm doing is looking to volunteer my time to point out areas that I see of weakness that we can help strengthen to help the community, right? Because that's the thing that was a little discouraging too. It's not really decentralized yet. This is still, you know, a company that we're all buying assets from, and I know there's a DAO and stuff, but at the end of the day, they can pull the plug. So there's no decentralization going on, and that's why I advise everybody not to be overexposed to any investment, because little changes like this, even though this is a good change, it could go the opposite way, right? And it could be a negative thing for everybody who's invested in the game over the years. Things can go south. Somebody can quit that's, you know, connected to the website, and they can't get the website up and running. There's so many things that can happen that's based off of individuals that I highly encourage everybody just to be cautious whenever getting into things like this, because it is a risk investment, and it can do very well, or it could go the other way. Just be prepared for the other way. If, you know, something bad was to happen, you can't be overexposed, so you know, don't hurt your lifestyle.
Yeah, that's an important piece of advice for anybody that's touching any investment. And yet I think there has to be spoken in the same conversation the other side of the coin, where it's like, okay, so if you believe in what this is or what this could be, and those aren't necessarily the same thing. You might believe what it is now is awesome, And you might think, well, it's okay now, but I think it could be really special one day. And if somebody I saw, who is this? I think it was on the Aftersound, Darkest Night. Somebody dropped a comment and it said something like, "I'm a buyer at this at this time in Splinterlands because the risk versus reward." It's like, you're right. There's a ton of extra risk in a moment like this. Bear market still persisting. Aggro just moved on, and now I think that's a good thing. I think that's actually a good thing, and we should talk about that in time. But
100%.
But this represents turmoil. This represents change. There has to be questions. Even Weirdbeard and I forget who else. I know some of the names, but I can't draw them off the top of my head right now. But those changes represent not just names that are gone. Those are people with roles that were serving certain functions within the company. And now we do have to wonder, even though I think it was probably ultimately for the best, finance-wise, runway-wise, you have to, there are more questions, I would say, today than there were before that town hall, before those layoffs, even though on the whole, I would be generally positive about those choices, about the direction, because it should shore up more runway. And because I do believe deeply in who Matt is. But my point really is like two parts. One, there are new uncertainties. And some uncertainties that were there before have sort of had light shined on them. So there's a bit more complexity, a bit more questions. Not saying I'm worried, saying that those are, I think, just true statements. And second part is, in the middle of that, if you still feel either confident about where we are or about where we're going to go, the moments where there is uncertainty is actually the moments where there's sort of the greatest opportunity. And that's what I liked about the comment. He was like, "I'm a buyer because I think, the outsized return possibilities that do exist." And like you said, everybody's got to take their risk. Everybody's got to recognize the risks that they're stepping into. They got to be careful about not going too far. But man, for me, I am now starting to think through, well, what would it look like to put, to double my SPS? Where would that come from? How could I do that? What would it look like to start acquiring some more plots of land? And so I'm not saying I'm, beyond, or I don't feel some of the tension. I do. But, that's I think if there was zero tension, if there was zero concern, there would be less or no outsized return possibility. What do you think about that, Blaze?
Yeah, no, it's a good spot to be in for that, in regards to if you're looking to accumulate more. But again, it goes back to that whole, the uncertainties. There's, I don't know if I have some friends that, they don't take good care of their car. They don't do the maintenance. They don't keep it clean. And then they talk about when they get a Lambo or get a high-end car. It's like, in my brain, I'm thinking, you can't take care of what you have now. How are you going to take care of something new, right? When you get it, or you can just visualize when it happens, same with girlfriends and wives or whatever. Like, it's like, you can't take care of yourself. It's going to be hard. But where I'm going with that is, I just, the game they need more structure. And I think really, I'm kind of on hold until land's out, and not necessarily land 1.5, but once land 1.5 is, see how that all stacks. So for example, land 1.5 comes out, and 3 weeks later they have this feature they're going to add, ruining whatever, add to it. It's successful. It's great. They're able to snap it on quick, and it works without much, much pain. And then they can just expand and grow. And then, okay, now you can see the ball moving. You can see where this is going. They really did need to build that base properly in order to, to make this a success. So yeah, I'm kind of on a holding pattern right now, just because of, how I see things. And the areas that I'm disappointed in, and like skins, like I've been asking for over a year. Just, it's like, if we want to attract collectors to this game, we need to have at least a full skin of every card, like not just a cut off 2D image. How can creators, I can't grab that image, go get a friend who's a graphics designer, give it to him and tell him, hey, make something fun for this, or we can turn this into a vinyl and sell it, and generate revenue for the DAO, and the individual can have a job by selling items. t-shirts and stuff, like
Yeah.
little things like that, like some badass graphics where we had a store where we can go to. And I don't think they see business like that,
Mm.
and not willing to put the time and effort of doing little things that would be very engaging for the community, especially when you have a community with over 10,000 users.
Yeah.
You create a store, we're all going to want to volunteer our funds to have a physical item, a collectible, whether it be a souvenir, or a t-shirt, something.
Yeah, it's a great point, man. You're onto
it-
something, especially because of the revenue, because of the part of the big reason for all these changes is in part, lack of runway. I think it's probably fair to say though that some of those, like as exciting as that would be, as especially for us who love this kind of stuff, and the 10,000, like you say, I really think that's probably a fairly accurate number for the real human players. I do think all of that you just said, from like from the like. Give us things to buy, give us skins to buy, give us even merch to buy. But all of that needs planning. And the one question I want to push back on in that topic is like, how much would that move the needle from like a finance perspective? And not everything has to be a zeros and ones. Hey, you put, $20 million into the company's pockets. It would actually be important for, even from like an advertising standpoint, even from like a community building standpoint, if you give us a regular release of t-shirts, guys like Walking Keys and Gank, they make their own t-shirts. I make t-shirts. It's like, why, like, just let someone run with that. Let
Yeah. Well, that's it right there. How many employees did they have? Like, I worked for a small organization with 30 employees.
Yeah.
And we had all that and more, right? And it was a software company. It didn't have anything to do with gaming, and gaming's a lot more attractive than a freaking software company that's just for business, right? So it's not hard. You grab one or two graphics designers that you have in the office, you schedule X amount of hours per week to work on this stuff, and then you have one guy's managing that knows all the connections, and then you have a third party do the work.
Yeah.
And there's commissions and stuff involved, and it's just a matter of doing the logistics and can get something rolling in no time. And it's that thing. They had over 60 employees or 100, whatever they had, and they couldn't find time to do something little like that. It's just
Missed opportunity.
I don't want to be negative. It's not only that, it's that marketing. That's how you get. I'm walking around with the t-shirt, right? You guys are making shirts, but who wins with that, right?
Yeah.
We do as a community, but
yeah.
Man, it can be taken to a whole new level, right?
Yeah.
And with tournaments, you do a tournament, winner gets this and that. It's fun. Tangibles make things fun.
Totally.
And
I mean, I think there's kind of almost no arguing what you're saying. I think you're just objectively right, but it's like, at this point. Now, in this moment, I might say, even though I agree with you, I don't want to see them trying to pull those sorts of things off, unless it's literally a decentralized, like let the community come forward with these things, and maybe that's possible. But I don't want them. I want laser focus on land, like you said earlier. Like land's got to get out. And go ahead.
Definitely now with the number of employees, right?
Yeah, missed opportunity before, but you're not calling for it today, is what I'm hearing, right?
Correct.
Yeah, that's it, man. Let's check in with the chat and then let's keep going. But let's see here. First of all, guys, thanks for coming hang out. I see Agar Prime out in the chat. Good to see you, buddy. Thanks for stopping by. I saw you on Twitter saying you were going to stop by, so thank you. Deuce chatting it up with Aga, and he goes, Deuce had a question that I want to circle back to, Blaze. He goes, we definitely trimmed the chaff. I don't often use that word, very biblical. I love that. We trimmed the chaff with these layoffs. Marketing was non-existent and mostly irrelevant for some time. And he goes on to say, I feel bad for Weirdbeard, but competitive esports is a long way off, or maybe irrelevant considering the bot issues from the past. And there's a real, I want to talk a little bit about like who was let go and whether there's really any sort of, what did we lose something that we ought to have kept, and what about, and even we can get into future a little bit, but first there's just a couple more comments here just to say hi. Crossover between the company, Bree and Dave. I think the crossover between the company and the game causing problems. I never spent a lot of time questioning. I don't know what that is, WOTC, but I sure spent money playing it. Yeah. I left Magic the Gathering because Hasbro ruined it for me. I still have legacy vintage decks, but even then I have trouble finding tabletop matches. And this is, to me, like, this is hinting at why a game like Splinterlands is so potentially valuable long term, because if you love a game like Magic the Gathering but you can't find tabletop matchups in your neighborhood, well, the blockchain just brings that right to your front door. And so
100%.
I really still stand by that this is something special. And I know lately I've been questioning my own assertions, and I've been like, okay, wait a second, Aggie gets ousted. Now, I don't think it was like kicked out. I don't think it was bad blood. I don't, he and Matt have always, they're good friends, I think, and they do butt heads as friends do. And I have no doubt there was like, that was probably a heated, serious conversation amongst the board. But I sincerely doubt that there's like bad blood or any sort of negativity. It's just like tensions are high, and we need to make these changes. And I think that was, at least me trying to read between lines, is what I thought I heard and saw. On the topic raised by Deuce, do you feel feel bad for Weird Beard, but we're a long way off on esports. Also the marketing he talks about, and how there was nothing really to market. I mean, I heard someone say we're marketing products we sold 3 years ago. And that's a shocking but true statement. And that's a problem, man. We're in some sense now marketing land which was sold years ago. And Rebellion was talked about forever ago, and we're trying to spark hype. Like, it just like the release, the lag time on getting things out. But it feels like the team layoffs, not to say that anything bad about them, but just those layoffs with those roles weren't explicitly related to getting these products on the market. I might misunderstand what their roles were, but I'm saying, like, marketing department is not putting land on it's not making land playable. Do you think we went too far with what we cut? Do you think we didn't go far enough? Do you see a problem for the future with what they did there, Blaze?
Yeah, from the beginning, the business plan wasn't in place. The way that the whole you want to create recurring revenue. That's the best source, for a business, is having a recurring revenue that you can rely on every month. And that's where sales comes in, where you need to get a business plan in place and create products. I got to tell you, like the Zerial sale.
Mm-hmm.
If there was a Blankos does this well. I don't know if at least a year ago they were doing it well. But they would do drops of a certain skin, and there was a timer on it. So it really made people go, oh, this thing's only available for X amount of time. I got to get in it. Mm-hmm. Or there's only 3,500. I got to go buy. Mm-hmm. And you can do little things like that with not a high dollar value, but something that's beneficial to the game, whether it, like even like burnable items, like an audible. Say you have an audible, right? And you were able to buy audibles where you see the match and you see her playing against, and you have 15 seconds to make changes or something like that. Can you imagine? Yeah. Like little things like that. Just there's so many. I mean, probably 100 ideas, 95 fail, and 5 are awesome, mm-hmm. right? So it's like that all should have been put into place a long time ago. And I feel that there's no way you can hire that many people and not have that on your mind for recurring revenue and creating things that are engaging with the community, that are low hanging. It's like low hanging fruit. It's easy sales. Mm-hmm. And you would buy it. I would buy it if a cool, awesome looking skin coming out, and added a little bit of value to the card or something. I know you're involving devs at that point, and that can become costly. But I mean, there's just so many ways to generate revenue. It's not even funny. That's why I really like this game, because there's some people that don't even. I don't. Was it on your? Somebody was saying they don't even play the game. They just have cards and land, and they don't play the game, but they're playing the game of investing. Right? They bought the land, they're sitting on it, yep. And then they'll sell it 2 years down the road. It's awesome. There's so many lanes you can pick. Yeah. And you can attract so many different types of investors and collectors and players. And that's the thing, like collectors is just so huge, man. That's a huge market. And that's just, I don't want Rebellion even, you're right? Because like we can't even complete a card that we have now why are we going to get another, kind of like the whole car example I was giving you.
Mm.
Like, let's finish what we have now, fine tune it, and then move on to the next stage. Not just come out with a bunch of stuff and have a bunch of low valued items.
So what is the thing? What is the car that you have now that you want, souped up rather than the new card? Like me in your analogy, what do you say you don't want Rebellion right now because it's another new car. You don't even have the one you got finished. What would it mean to finish it? Like, are you saying you want more Rift Watcher packs, or what are you
No, we
looking
need
for?
to add character to
Ah,
the each individual card. So we see these cards right here, right? They
yeah.
look great. But you go grab any kind of graphic and you go ask the team, "Hey, I want a complete graphic of whatever, any of these ones."
Yeah.
You'll go and there's like a 2D image and it's like a 2 inch by 2 inch square, and the tail's cut off, and the whole character's not there, so you don't have a full feel. Like, I think the alpha cards are pretty complete. They have a full 3D image that you can go access, and then you can do some fun stuff like I did with the plane and Aggie the other day. You can grab those and do some fun stuff with it, but this new stuff, there's nothing to work with. I saw something about the mushroom dude, like some 3D image. It was awesome, but there's no library for us to access that stuff. If they do have it, are they hiding it from us, or
Yeah,
if
it's
it's
not
a
it's not
future?
particularly obvious, but there is, if you come into like Splinter cards, for instance, and you go to cards, or you can access this from Splinterlands, but you come in, like, let's say you want an Ash Mirage, you can click on this card and then you can scroll down, you'll see the fullness, but you're right, it's not like like this is, so this image in my screen is the full card of Ash Mirage, and now when you look at the card, there's borders that get in the way, you can't really see the people that are in front being terrified. So there is more picture than maybe is alluded to by the card, but I would argue there should be even more than this. There should be,
Exactly.
yeah.
It's a 3D model, like, of each character. Like, you put all this work into this. Like, let's get the department to 3D all of these, which they have done, but it's very scattered. There's no structure and organized. Hey, today we're doing card 1 through 50. Tomorrow we're doing cards 50 through 100. Next day, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or yeah, probably in smaller bites, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Every card should have a collectible vibe to it, and right now they don't. Other than just being a cool card, but again, you don't have this. Your imagination can only go so far.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, that is all like from the art design, and it would be theoretically, it seems as though the art design is always working ahead. We heard Nate say that they're often like waiting for, for instance, card stats to be put on the Rebellion. The assets themselves are generally done. So if that's so, I would love to see more work done on this particular front. We've seen there'll be eye candy in the form of like a desktop image, which is great. I love that stuff. But yeah, like, we need to start moving through updating some of that, giving some alternatives. And I think on the one hand, you're going to hear and you're going to find that will not observably move the needle in terms of clicks or, new player acquisition or even profit for the company. But I think if the art team is truly, as Nate has said more than once, moving faster than sometimes the other elements of the team are able to, let's get them kind of back ending some of this stuff, upgrading some of this stuff, giving us opportunities as real lovers of this, as collectors, to pour into that. And then again, get creative with how we even outsource some of that. Like you said, you could do commission based. Like, if there's somebody who can design great t-shirts and is willing to do so for literally just a slice of the pie, like, man, that I bought t-shirts when I was at Splinterfest. I want more of them. I would wear them. They're rad. But so I mean, I think there's important, and those are all part of to me, that's part of a player experience, because it's actually a community building thing. It's a thing where there's more to look at, more to do. It's not just the rank battle. There's other elements. Maybe I can earn these skins. Maybe I can, trade these skins. Maybe I can display these skins in a trophy room. Now, again, I don't want to get too distracted because I think you got to come back. All this is great, but we got to keep coming back to the fact that layoffs happen because the runway is inadequate, and because main things like LAN 1.5 are still not out. And, as awesome as all of these things could be, and I think would be, right now, I'm pleased to hear Matt's laser focus on two things: revenue generation and land. And he talked about rebellion within revenue generation. And we, you know what, let's transition actually on that topic, Blaze. Let's talk a little bit about revenue generation, because they specifically said in the town hall that they want to take $250,000 from the DAO as like a bounty to release the rebellion assets. That would be essentially money in their pockets. It would help the runway issue, it would help staffing, etc. But then the assets, I think, are already done. So it's literally just like almost like a bit of a front line, give us something, because we need money. And then second, a 50-50 split is what I heard on the pack sales.
Wouldn't you as a community just say, just take the whole dang thing? You know what I mean? Like, well, don't bring it to the DAO. Just, you guys take it all, extend your runway so we can start, building other sources of income. So without having to fire more people, or bring Weirdbeard back and put him in a more structured role, like we can hire him as the DAO. Cool. But at the end of the day, the DAO really doesn't have control. Like, we can all vote on it, but at the end of the day, they have the choice at the end of it. You know what I mean? So it's still not officially a DAO. While it's nice and it's feel good, it makes us part of it. It's, it's still not. So they need to, they wouldn't be firing people if they had, structured the business properly and, applied general sales approach to everything and built that revenue, then move on to the DAO, right? I think it was all, it's all like, even with imagine if you bought a node for $3,000, I'd be very disappointed right now.
Yeah. I bought a couple nodes, but I sold them eventually.
But because
you said a few things there. I want to grab one of them. You talk about how, like you said earlier too, we're not really decentralized, and I think that's accurate. And then you talked about the DAO but one thing that would move us toward a true decentralization would be and Matt talked about this in that town hall, he said, look, we would like to, and we've always aimed at, moving to a future model where Splinterlands is a contractor for the DAO. The DAO is the organization that runs Splinterlands. We're not there yet, but that's the vision for the future. And that DAO would then be would use DAO funds to hire Splinterlands, the company, to release Rebellion or to release, some future pack or promo card, etc. And so this could be a move toward that end, because I think you desire that true decentralization, but you're being critical and saying, no, we're not there yet, and we're a long way off, and you need to focus on Runway more than you need to focus on DAO. But I don't see why we can't move both needles forward at the same time, because you talked about, like, you just one more thought.
Just real quick.
Just one more thought.
Real quick.
The 7.5, like if we sold 3 million packs, $15 million, and we put 7.5 million in the DAO, that helps Runway, because we can use those funds to equip them to move forward with other things, whether even it's hiring back Weirdbeard. Sorry, go ahead with whatever you wanted to speak to.
Yeah, no, and that's getting to the basics of being able to run the company, not relying on. They should have, again, that should just be designed a little better internally, and I think that's what Matt's doing now. So I'm totally fine with it. I'm just looking left. Everything I've said recently, I'm just looking left on 5 years. All that the management of funds over the years with chaos and everything. It's like, okay, they didn't do it perfect. Okay, but what we can do today, from today onwards, is a whole other story. And I think Matt has that energy. The one thing about Matt is I hope he gets involved a little more with the community, because if he's spearheading it, he can't avoid. It's hard to be. Do Kwon did it very well, right? He got out there and he did dev work as well. So if Matt's going to be that special person for this game to succeed, which he is, because he was the one that created it with Aggie, but he needs to take the right approach and not have his head down for 2 months and not communicate with the community. Or if he does, he really needs that person on his right hand, there to relay the info to the community. But I would say, don't turn town halls from weekly to every 2 months or anything like that. Try to have a good engagement with the community, like Aggie was doing on multiple levels. So I think that's crucial.
I
If he's
agree
going to
with you.
spearhead it, he
I love
needs,
the town
yeah.
halls. I love the town squares. I even watched Around Pretoria, which is Aggie's YouTube thing. I don't know if they're going to keep going forward with that or not. And I do want to see those things, but at the same time, Matt's not that guy. Like, he doesn't have that. You've seen him even on every town hall he's ever been on. He, like, aggro leads the conversation, and Matt just like matter of factly answers, and that's just a different character. I'm not being critical of one or the other. It's just a different personality. And he did say he wants to like reduce the number of times, but man, again, maybe there's community. Maybe there's, you know what could happen? Like, you just talked about decentralization in the form of content creation from the skins perspective. We talked about different t-shirt ideas and how you could generate through even commission-based, like fans could generate, and then there could be sales, and those part of it could go royalties, like using things like OpenSea could generate, if they gave us permission, we could generate assets, sell the assets, and a slice goes to Splinterlands, a slice goes to the creator, different things like that. With another decentralization that comes to mind as we look at even content creation from the weekly town halls perspective, if Matt won't, you know, the town square was an event that happened every other week, where it was literally just a conversation like this one today, where we're talking about Splinterlands, and we don't exactly know where it's going to go, and we're watching the chat, and we, you know, Blaze, you hopped on 5 minutes before we went live. So I mean, my thought is this: what if we as, you know, we just laid off, I don't know, 50 different Splinterlands TV, you know, employees. They were employees. Why not, you know, maybe one or two of them are willing to come on. Some of the better ones that are like fan approved are willing to, or even a rotation thereof, are willing to come on and do like a weekly facilitation of conversation. They're not leading it. They're doing like Aggro and Weirdbeard did. I think there's ways to decentralize and keep that conversation going. Cause you're what you're saying, what I'm hearing you say is the community matters. We need to stay focused on the community. We need to bring it together, whether it's new skins and getting us excited about the game, whether it's ongoing conversations. What do you think about that?
We need to be connected with them. So we can put the worst thing is we all put the time and energy into something like that, and then it gets rejected, or something happens and it doesn't connect with Splinterlands itself, and we end up all wasting our time. That's the only thing, and that's why we're missing somebody there at Splinterlands to help connect everybody together that has that business you know, entrepreneurial spirit that's able to connect everybody. And dude, that's an awesome idea. And have you seen the art? I've seen so much badass artwork, dude, over the years from the community that just gets lost. Yeah. But like plenty of those can be a skin, right? And that artist, like Blinkos does, they give a commission to the artist. So there can be a voting process where the community votes of saying, hey, each card's going to have 5 skins, right? Approved or disapproved, right? And if it's approved, then the creator gets a commission off of every sale. And, you know, we can work on rare editions and stuff like that. But again, if we put that time and energy into it, we need to be secure that it's going to work out for us and we're not all wasting time. That's all I'm saying. I
feel like there's a win-win there, and I feel like there's there's an issue. There's a chat comment here from Virus, and it's connected to what you're saying, because we're talking about, and you said we can't just go forward on these issues and then watch them like fall or not be supported by the team. In some sense, that's about like a leader or a visionary or a voice that would be driving the messaging and making it, like pulling it all together. Like, hey, we've got 10 people over here who want to do it. I happen to know as that leader, and I'm not talking me, I'm saying like, I'm thinking Weirdbeard actually. And it's like, I know these 6 people over here could do a great job with respect to running a town square every other week or every single week. And from time to time, you could have a special guest, Nate pops on, etc. Like a People's Guild vibe where they get the team members popping on their own time to just chat about amazing things, sometimes dropping cool alpha. And I bring Virus's comment up in this context because he says, with the loss of Weirdbeard, I think we lost a bit of our voice with the team. I understand that the rule didn't make the cut, but I think we will feel that in getting changes to the community wants. And I think everything we've talked about so far, Blaze, don't you think it's like we're really talking about the community wants certain changes, and I don't think it's just you and me. Around skins, around new game modes, around merch, around, you know, ongoing conversations with the team and about the game. And some of that's all being just chopped off because voices like Weirdbeard are, you know, some of the things he was driving for just couldn't be done money wise, time wise. We had to focus elsewhere. And so,
just grab yourself, grab Virus, grab me, grab Weirdbeard, right? We work together 3 times a week, right? Planning one day, and then executing the other 2 days, right? Like, and then take it to somebody at Splinterlands to connect it up and make it work, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's that easy, right? And I know it's you know it's not that easy, but it's that easy to put a plan of action together and then take action on it.
Mm-hmm.
And just think like the engagement with the community and stuff, and that's the thing about sales. It's like I've noticed a lot of them don't have sales experience because they say no a lot, right? So you have a community member that says something creative, right? And yeah, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to implement it, but the way that it's shut down, like, no, we're not going to do that. Oh, we don't have time for that right now. This is the focus. It's very discouraging for the community. And what do the people do? A normal person's going to be like, all right, well, F you guys, then I'm going on to this other game, right?
Yeah.
and that's that happens a lot. I've seen it over the years with the game. Retaining community is very easy if you know how to communicate with them. And I feel that there's a lack of communication, and there's so many things that can be improved. And you volunteer your time, I volunteer my time, because we enjoy this space, man. And we really want the best of it, and we want the best of this game, and we see the potential with this game. And I think they spread thin a little bit, but now if Matt can regroup, bring this together, and we can put some things in place, and take action, man. That's the main thing, is taking action and doing things that matter. Cut out the things that that aren't productive, and lean on the things that are being productive. So land, for example, that's going to be a huge asset for everybody.
Mm-hmm. I'm with you, and we should probably transition away from some of this. But I want to shout out Agar Prime, and he's echoing what you're saying, especially around the card assets. Because he used to do, like, he would do 3D renders, as I remember, of like your Rooney or different characters. And he goes, I agree, it was trying at times to, whilst animating, because I would have to finish images. Yeah, I mean, there's missed balls in that. Like, there's an oversight from a art and design, and even a community driven, because you shouted out Blankos. I mean, they did it right, and I think there's still room for us to move in that direction. It's not like these are entirely missed and can never be circled back to. I want us to circle back. And one last comment before we maybe try a new topic. But Virus said, because Alex Toros goes like, we can just approach the team ourselves. We don't need a Weirdbeard, which in some sense is true. But Weirdbeard was trying to take the temperature of the room and report that back in meeting after meeting that we would never be invited to, and never can. It's not fair to expect we would be invited to. Can we reach out on Discord and drop a comment to one person? Yes, we can. But like Virus says, I guess I don't know who that person is that we message when we are next. When are the next set of tournaments being set up, etc. And it's like, yeah, you can just
it's intercommunications, right?
Yeah, you can start dropping emails, Discord messages to everybody is on the team, but who's going to handle it? And I know from my own, as a guy who runs a YouTube channel, I get hundreds or dozens at least of Discord messages, and I can't keep up. Then there's YouTube messages, and it's like there's probably wisdom in those comments that I can't always touch, and so you need somebody overseeing it. But again, I get why we pulled back. Again, the real core has to be revenue generation and land, and so maybe we touched it, but we didn't go deep into it. I want to get it more into revenue generation, specifically around Rebellion, because you alluded to, not yet. You alluded to, don't do it through the DAO where they get half of it. Let the company have it. But one thing we didn't touch, and I wanted to hear your thoughts on, is if we do a DAO vote, and if we commission or pay a bounty, which is in my mind trivial, 250 grand, who cares? And then secondly, it is almost certainly in my mind going to be a path to millions of dollars for the DAO, because I think they're going to issue 5 million packs, and I think they're going to sell 3 million packs. And that's what Matt said, like 3 million he thinks they're going to sell. $5 a pop, 15 million bucks. I think that makes sense. I actually do believe that's plausible, reasonable, accurate. And if so, that'd be $7.5 million for a $250,000 investment on the DAO. And you said, Why would they do that? Just keep the money, extend the runway. But 7.5 million is consequential if you look at the staff. And I saw Aftersound diving into this. I think it was Aftersound, and it was Tails and Baby Omega and Steve. They were getting into a conversation after Virus and Walking Keys and Gank, and the conversation was like, oh look, you got this many employees. If they get paid $100,000 each, you're looking at like X number of years or whatever. And you're totally speculating, but I'm saying if we sold 3 million packs and if they're $5 a pop and if the team gets 7.5 and that's going to be a lot of runway. So, but one more note, and then I want to hear your thoughts. Putting 7.5 million in the DAO is good for Splinterlands because it increases the desirability for holding SPS, because your vote matters, because it's controlling value within a DAO that is greater and more substantive. And then two, the DAO is the future of the control and the governance for essentially the team, the company, like on that contractor basis. So are you truly, like, you would, if there was a DAO proposal saying $250,000 out of the DAO and we split the rebellion profits, DAO and company, would you say no to that with your SPS? Why or why not?
Yeah, I would not vote up or down. I'd have to spend more time on it.
Fair
enough. The whole thing is with that, and why I said just give it all to them, is because it sounds like they need to get their money right. You right?
Yeah.
So they need to look internally. They need to say who's being productive, and who's being productive but it's not adding value. Cut them. I think that's what they did right now. And hopefully everybody that they have now, because it all relates, right? Because that's money going out every month, and that's puts them in this situation. So once they get their money right, and once they get their structure internally right, then we come into play. Without them working, we can't work, right? As the DAO. So we need to be comfortable with them. We can't have them stressed on town halls, and you can see it in their face that things are going downhill. You can't show that to your community. You can, but you can't. And it's just that I think there's missing somebody in there to tie everybody together and get the vibes going good, get everything running lean and mean, and and take the right approach. That's all I'm saying. It's like they need to get their stuff right first. So, and then I'm all for the DAO. We can do all kinds of fun stuff. We have a lot of great people in this community with a lot of voting power that vote on the right thing. So, yeah. I'd probably do like a 75-25 right now, right? Not 50-50. And then also I would probably do $3 packs instead of $5 packs, because we're not in a raging bull market, and $3 would be a lot more attractive to new people coming in. Just the whole way that the cards mesh, right? Yeah. It's hard to understand card value when you're like, oh yeah, I get 5 cards. Yeah, but if you're competing at, diamond and champ level, you need a lot more cards than that. Yeah, you know how it is. So yeah.
I think we're probably going to get 5 million packs, $5 a pack with $1 off if you buy a voucher. That's what I'm expecting. And I hear you in saying, what if it was $3? I don't know.
Hey, if we can burn vouchers, great, because I have like over 2,000 piled up.
Dude, vouchers. Yeah. I heard. Let's talk on vouchers for a minute. Vouchers are worth like 2 cents a penny, or 2 pennies each. I got 1,500 of them. There's more being printed every day. I just saw a video from Aftersound saying, like, let's just stop printing them, and they just didn't work. And big things are changing. Like, what if we just stop changing? And he even was willing to say, look, we, as a pushback on his own idea, he goes, we had these they're printing about $1,000 worth of vouchers every single day. 2 cents each, 40,000 a day. So what is that? 40,000 times 0.02. So it's $800 US a day being printed times 365. So that's a lot of wealth. That is 300 grand this year is going to be created with vouchers, theoretically, if the price stays relatively stable. And I don't think it will stay stable. But if you just stop printing them altogether, you're saying to certain people who planned in a certain way and who built their income source out of Splinterlands, because some people have SPS and they're getting vouchers and they want that extra little freebie. I'm not sure I agree, But I wonder what your thoughts are specifically on vouchers.
Yeah, it's the same with the employee, right? Right. We hired this employee. It was a great idea, but it's not working out. We gotta let it go. Right. So
Mm,
what the vouchers is, they're not keeping up with it. It's a great idea, you know, but they're not keeping up with the utility of the vouchers. We're not
mm,
burning through vouchers like we should. There should be stuff going on every week. They should have a promo card, or every 2 weeks there should be
yeah,
some kind of a. It doesn't
yeah,
have to be a card. It can just be
yeah.
utility for land. It could be something, and every week there's something.
You're
Boom,
right.
boom, and it keeps
And then
everything.
and
The
that
juices
circles
flowing.
back
Yeah.
to your first, like the whole first conversation around just decentralize the creation of cool things that are limited in number, and they don't even have to be, revenue generating. Skins, alternative skins. Someone said in the thing, like in the chat, with skins.
Yeah,
you can
sorry,
even,
chat. I can't pull. For some reason, I can't pull the chat up. So I'm sorry. I'm not reading the
It's
chat
all
as
good.
well.
Keith Thibault said, talking about the potential for adding new skins. How about like sports cards have holographic or metallic colored skins in card
100.
version? And
Dude, listen. I have one note here. Hollow die cut.
yeah,
That's before 5 minutes before the call. I wrote a couple things down. Exactly what that guy said right there.
yeah.
Who was that?
Oh, Keith Thibault, I think it was.
Yeah, Keith, man, I'm on the same page. And not only that, you don't have to change the structure too much because you can keep regular and gold foil, right? And gold foils are the most precious ones. But
Yeah.
you can have a gold foil die cut or a gold foil hollow and a regular hollow, right?
Yeah.
All for that. I'm a huge fan of that stuff. So
Yeah, and it would
that's
be
what gets me
visually
going.
stimulating. It'd be something to look at. It'd be something, real collectors could dive down if they want to. You don't have to. In my mind, it could be just entirely superficial, and yet it would be a sink for some people and some of the community to just start spending vouchers. And you're right, like there can't be one promo card every 9 months, and we just assume that the voucher inflation is going to be fine. It's going to just crater and crater and crater unless we have a constant influx of desirable assets, and it can't just be every nine months or year and a half when we release a new edition during a pre-sale for a week. Like it has to be every day, every week. There's ways to spend these vouchers that that are interesting to some. I don't care if it's not interesting to everybody. I'm not saying a home run every day. I'm saying like base hit every week. Like, you know what I mean? Creates things that some people are going to spend vouchers on all the time, trivial in nature, but like you'll see some decrease in the vouchers. You'll see some interest in acquiring new vouchers. The buy volume will go up because some people will want them. And like, I mean, look at this buy volume. There's only $300 buy volume on vouchers in the last 24 hours.
Crazy.
There's nothing there.
Crazy.
There's nothing there at all. Like,
Exactly. But there's exactly that for all the right reasons. I'm glad there's not a lot of activity there, right? If not, it'd be like wash trading going on.
Yeah,
There's no utility for it.
yeah, good point.
But yeah, no, the chat's spot on. We're all spot on. And that's just it though. We're depending on them. And you can only, you know what I mean? Like they need to put some of that stuff in our hands because we're here with good intentions and we're here to make this game thrive. And if we're silenced and if we're just put to the side and this is a priority, but I think there should be a poll. What's priority? And to let the community vote of what's priority, right?
Yeah.
And if it requires a lot of resource and it's not productive, obviously that's not going to be top of the totem pole. Even if it's a great idea, if it's not generating revenue or interest or whatever, then we can't put it as number one thing to tackle.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, everybody's spot on in the chat, man.
There's a comment.
Stuff.
There's a comment here from Oscu. Shout out to Oscu. Good to see you, buddy. Thanks for popping by. And he goes, Battle Pass would be an amazing idea. Just don't overdo it. Sell it for $10 every 3 months. Solid income for next to no effort. And it's so connected to what we're already talking about. Give us paths to access non-revenue generating resources or assets from the game. NFTs, skins, different models of the same cards, etc. Like just give us different things, even trophies, even titles that are like never going to give you a bonus. You can give me a title that doesn't give me a land bonus. Like it's just a data input on the back end. Legionnaire gives you a 10%, Burn-Ender gives you 20%. Give me like a skin of the week name, or not a skin of the week, a title of the week or title of the season name, and it's no bonus associated with it, but it's just something that will always mark my account with I used to play during that season 1, etc. So
Fortnite, yeah,
it's so easy.
And here's another thing. it gets my juices flowing. And the one thing that the game hasn't implemented, and I've never got a reply, it's been crickets every time I bring it up. But it's on this. It's mint numbers. All legendary
Sorry,
cards.
I lost. Last part I missed.
All max level copies should, at least max level copies, should have a mint number. Because I can dump all my cards right now. I don't have any connection with my cards because they're not unique. You give me a mint number of my golden dragon, dude. I'll be like, I have mint number 3 of 400. I'll be like, I'm not gonna sell this bad boy.
Oh, dude.
And then if you want it, you're gonna have to pay more.
Yes.
That's one thing that's missing big time, man. Because I was a huge card collector, and that there is very important.
Rebellion.
And
I want that for. They need to implement that and then just move forward doing that with whatever, because that makes perfect sense. Yeah,
because your friend dumped all his cards, right? He didn't have any. He can buy it all back later, right?
Yeah.
But this is different, man. That adds a uniqueness, and they got to stop with this million copy crap. we need to have these. We need to have certain cards that there's only 800 of, and this is what it is. It's what it is, right?
Yeah, you would have some people. You would have some people be so bitter about that, and yet you would have other people be so excited about that. You know, ultra rare. I watched this Netflix special. It was about like auction sales, and it was about like, so collectors, they sell things through, like, sometimes through auctions, live in-person auctions, because they're so rare, and they use the internet to like to send it across the globe. And this, I forget the name of the show, but that one episode I was watching, they had found, these 3 collectors had found this one of one basketball card. And it had the card literally had 3 of the basketball players. I think it was LeBron. 3 of LeBron. Like
LeBron. There's one with Jordan, Kobe, and I forgot the third. Maybe it was LeBron. But yeah, it's crazy, dude.
Like one of one card. This card here, it is. Logo Man.
The patch. Okay.
Logo Man.
Yeah.
It had 3 of his patches from 3, because he played for 3 teams, I think, and maybe in that one season, or anyways.
Wow.
They took the patches, and this was a one of one card, and
of course,
and it was hidden in all of the packs, and it's like, you might get that. Good luck, and watch what happens with sales. Like, whoa.
They can do that with, dude, we had a little project on Wax that did that. They said they had some special card, and it was a one of one or something like that. And dude, the packs, somebody was just coming to buy $20,000 worth of packs, right? Just trying to get that card, like the golden ticket, the freaking Charlie and the Chocolate Factory crap going on, man. Like, yeah, dude, 100%, dude. We need that, dude. We need that excitement, because every packet opening is kind of blah. You know what I mean? Yeah, we get a gold foil, cool, but everything else is blah. There's nothing unique. And if you add a special card here and there, and you can do it in the code too, it's not hard to do.
Mm-hmm. Dude, that would be wild. I would love to see that.
Imagine if you had a one of one gold foil holo of Yoden.
Yeah. Oh,
You'd be the man, dude.
I know, and even if it added, like you said, mint number adds nothing to the utility of the card. It doesn't give you more rewards when you win with the card, but it makes it personal. And so would a one of one skin. It's like, it doesn't have to add bonuses on the returns or how many RP I'm getting or whatever. It's like, it just is something exceedingly rare and amazing and desirable, and you absolutely would appeal to some of our audience, and I think a whole different audience too, if that started being implemented. I don't see any reason to not do that. I know you're going to be there's going to be 99% of people who are disappointed they don't get the thing, but man, the excitement that would come out of, and the sales that would come out of that being introduced, I think if the team's listening, they need to do this on Rebellion. This would spark more sales, because it'd be like, there's a one of one card or a skin, or it could just be skin. Just give us a different skin then. If you don't want to give us like a one amazing card that is literally broken and you absolutely want to get it, you could do that, by the way. Just do one of one totally crazy asset. But you also could just do one of one amazing Yoden's skin on Untamed packs, and it's too late for Untamed. But with Rebellion, that best legendary summoner that they're going to release, well, there's only one with the diamond skin or whatever, and it gives you no extra bonuses, maybe even, but it just looks sick.
Yep. No, that's what we need, and that's what we're missing from the collector side. And I'm telling you, that generates interest big time.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes people 10x their willingness to buy a pack, because there's that odd that they can get that one card. And not only that, it's on the blockchain too. So they can't pull the cards from the packs and have everybody go on a wild goose chase. It'll be in there, and when it's pulled, everybody knows.
Yeah.
Maybe the excitement slows down.
That's right.
But maybe they add another card or something. But it's a must, man.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. You could add like one. It could be like golden tickets from like
Hey, let me expand on it, Charlie Chalk Factory.
Yeah.
Let me expand on it, dude.
Go for it.
This is blockchain. Yo, we can add like when you get that card, there can be like 5 slots, right? And what there's redemptions. There can be 5 redemptions built into that NFT. That's the power of the blockchain. You can't do that on a physical card. And in those slots are slot number 1, a 1 of 1 or a 1 of 10 vinyl character, like a 3D model that the community builds. We have somebody in the community going in, and as soon as they claim that and redeem it, it burns it from the card. So then the next 4 slots are available, and that could be a random question mark. So what that would do is if somebody held that, right, and didn't take action on it, they would have all the slots free. It would up the value of that card. But if they were to redeem slot number 1 and 2, it would lower the value, the interest of the card at least a little bit. And then you can do so much with the blockchain, man.
Yeah.
and then it gives a long-lasting utility to those cards and collector seeking.
Yeah. Yeah. And one thing I just pulled out Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse because you got me thinking about how if you were doing this, you might start breaking, like in a critic might say you're going to break the art style. There's a cohesion, and that would be different now if you just started, especially if you're crowdsourcing art generation. But you know what? I don't care, because if I think about one of the best movies in I'm thinking 10 years, it's like that latest Spider-Man animated film where there's the multiverse, Spider-Verse, and I don't think it's called Into the Spider-Verse, whatever the newest one is. And I don't know if you guys have seen it, but it's so good. I'll say first before I go any further, I usually hate Marvel movies now. It's so done. It's so overdone. But there's good writing in it. There's good acting in it. It's amazing art style. And one of the cool things about it is that every Spider-Man from every different universe has their own art style. Like they come from a world where the art style is just totally different and unique. And so if there were these rare card editions that had a totally different look, it would be fine. It'd be cool. It'd be like Rooney, where your Rooney is totally different than mine. I'm always looking at them when I face somebody. I did see a comment that I want to circle back to here, Blaze. Brian Dave said, with respect to the DAO and with respect to almost contracting for Rebellion and spending DAO funds, the comment is this. Okay, so if I was the DAO, you want me to pay for the product, then give a 50% royalty back to the team I just paid? Bad idea. Bad deal for the DAO. What's the total cost of the set production? So I think first and foremost, it's not like you are paying for the product. There's no way the product costs 250 grand. Rebellion costs way more than 250 grand. Like literally, I think if they release 5 million packs in November, and I think they might be releasing this in November or even October, by the way, you're talking about they will sell 3 million packs for $5 a pop. Okay, no, let's call it $4 a pop because people will use vouchers. So that'll be $12 million in the team's hands. The team is saying that's our money. Like we're going to sell that. For sure. You guys are going to buy that. If we release it, that's getting sold. That money's going to the company, period. No sharing with the DAO at all. But what they're saying is we are willing to share with the DAO because we see value in adding money into the DAO, because the future of what Splinterlands, the greatest success and the most optimal success for Splinterlands would be if the DAO is funded well, even more than if Splinterlands, the company, is funded well, because long term, they then become the driving force of what this game even is. That's the vision. And so it's not like you're thinking about it you're thinking like the 250 grand would cover the cost. First of all, it wouldn't. And second of all, you're thinking about it from the perspective of like a revenue share is unfair, but truly they're offering a revenue share, not like it's nothing for them. It's not at all helpful to them. It's literally entirely for the benefit of the DAO. There is no downside for the DAO. And then when you talk about the total set production cost, you actually can figure that out. I heard recently Hales from the Cryptmancer talking with Steve and Bebe Omega. You should go watch the video. It's on Steve's channel. And I won't be able to regurgitate the numbers, but they talked about what that would look like. And I think he said, you know, if you look at like the staff, it would take, you know, you're probably talking, I don't know, I can't remember the numbers, but they got into it. And Tales from the Cryptmancer has like a background in that sort of stuff, I guess. So maybe those numbers are reliable. But the point again is, it's not just the cost of production. A company has to make profit, not just it costs $250,000. So if they sell it to us for $250,000, it's ours. No, man, they got to make profit. We want them to survive too. So I think maybe I just would say, I would encourage you to look at it from a different perspective and see how the company would actually be doing this for the DAO, and not the DAO would be doing this for the company. Do you think I'm wrong on that, Blaze, or do you feel like that's accurate?
No, that sounds about right. But that goes back to that whole, you know, they need to get their money right. And and also I know Matt didn't want to share some of that on the call. I understand, but if there's a DAO and there's a company, it needs, those numbers unfortunately need to be transparent.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, that's an interesting conversation. Yeah.
You know, like, because we don't know the details of how many man hours went behind creating that, like you said, if it cost 250,000 or not, and putting money into the DAO, it's like, okay, I mean, there just has to be the game plan needs to be put in place, right?
BJ Wag, good to see you, pal. Thanks for popping by. Deuce, let's see, what's Deuce saying? We still have channels to get our feedback to the people in charge. Plus, there is also an opportunity to voice those opinions on Discord or as a DAO proposal. That's totally true. It is I think we're skirting around the complex topic of whether or not a person like Weirdbeard in Weirdbeard's prior role was necessary, explicitly necessary, or if it was truly just just really beneficial. I don't think anybody would say, even Toro, I saw Alex in here saying like, I don't get it. And somebody else was like, I don't really, you know, I don't like Weirdbeard, but you know, so the comments haven't always been like, man, I want him back in that role. But interestingly, I would say most people agree there was value to having someone be a little bit of a figurehead, a bit of a point of contact. And yet, this is still true. So, you know, we do have paths. So the question really is, and I think the answer is, you know, Weirdbeard wasn't necessary. There are alternatives to how we reach the team. But man, I don't know if it can be optimized without a person at that helm. Now, that doesn't mean we have to pay it today, because truth be told, it sounds like I'm with you, Blaze. Listening to Matt talk, he didn't give numbers, but I would argue they're more concerned than Aggro ever was. And I think that's part of why the move, right? Aggro spoke recently about how we're going to be fine. It's not a big deal. Everything's going to be, but here we have this change. And it kind of, to be honest, blindsided me a little. Some of my tension in this last few weeks or days has been out of, wow, just like last week, Agrod's on the town hall or the town square or whatever, talking to me directly. I was on the town square and saying like, no, we don't need your guys' free money. We're not looking for donations. Like, we don't need any path for people to contribute. We're going to be fine. We've got ample. And then this. So
exactly, dude. Yeah. Like that was perfect timing. And that's the thing. You can't lead on hope. There's no hope here. That's why I say sales is a bloodline of company. And you can't have that, you know, free, like, oh, everything's cool. Hey, even Bitcoin goes. That can't have anything to do with, crypto can't have anything to do with this. This needs to be treated as a business, not as, okay, we're next bull market, we're going to do great. You know, you can't rely on that. And as an investor in the company, you know, I'm like, dude, you don't say that kind of stuff, you know? So it's that. And I think it's just, it's like, even Weirdbeard, great kid. And he did a great job, but I don't know how much micromanaging was going on where he can try to do something, but he can't do anything at the end of the day, right? So we don't know what it was like in his shoes, and plus, yeah, it's just, it comes with education, training,
Yeah.
and again, a game plan. Because if he's there and everybody's like, oh yeah, he's a spearheading this, right? But then at the end of the day, he goes there to get it done, and everybody's like, oh no, you can't do that, man. We're doing this right now.
Mhm.
And then his position can start feeling questioned himself, right?
Yeah.
Just he's I don't know if he's getting paid to be jumping on these calls and like chatting with you guys here. He did a great job of communication, but again, at the end of the day, I don't know what kind of decision power he had there, right?
Mhm.
Obviously not a lot, because he was like, go. So and yeah, it's that thing. That's where DAO's going to help down the road. But for now, you're dealing with a small business, and you have two people that can say yes or no, right?
Yeah. I hear you, and it makes me think about, like, you talked about the bear market. We can't wait for the bull market. We can't plan success around the bull market. And I agree with you. And I've heard comments on my channel around that. I think there's so much truth in that. We can't just wait for bull markets and plan to grow in that and then just suffer the bear market and think that we're going to be a thriving company. That's so true. And I think maybe, oh man, but we are fighting.
Do you think Fortnite's worried about the bull market right now?
Exactly, right? No, I don't. And I think that's where we need to start disconnecting a little bit from the revenue sources. And that's coming back to Oski's point. Like, part of that would be a season pass. And then part of it might be starting to store more value in USD. And just that way, you don't even care about the bull market, bear market. But these guys, these investors are definitely, even Matt, are crypto heads. And like, these guys they've always held half of their value in ETH and Bitcoin. That's what we heard at one point when we last heard. And so I'm not saying it's good they do that. I'm just saying that's who they are. And I wonder if maybe what's the board? The board might need to weigh in on that and be like, look, we just can't do that. Like, if there's another bull run shortly, and I think there might be, or if we have to wait until the halving, which a lot of people are thinking, either way, like, that's relatively soon. I think in the next bull market, I hope we can have a conversation around, we need to stop, get off this rocket with this ride. The highs are great, the lows are terrifying. But one thing I want to talk about too is card values. And I've been watching my card values, and they went down another couple grand in the last 3-4 days, like big drops.
Obviously, yeah. This week's news is going to cause a lot of people to panic out. That's what I was saying back to, I even felt like saying I can downsize, my portfolio a little bit, because there's some opportunities elsewhere that I see, and I was like, I could take 10 grand out of this and move it over there, but I'm right now, I'm just observing, seeing what they do over the next month or two.
Yeah.
But and it comes with business model and structure and so on. Like, there's so many things that we can't see. But like here in Portugal, for example, you hold Bitcoin for more than a year, you can sell it and it's tax exempt, right? So if they're in the States or in Canada or wherever it's out of, it's a whole different ball game there,
Yep.
right? So if they do need money out of their crypto, they need to cash it out. They're going to pay a hefty tax bill on it,
Yep.
right?
That's right.
So that's another thing that people don't, and that's, cash is very important to have in the bank just for situations like that, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So maybe the sales that are in cash from the packs stays in cash, and that keeps the company going, and they can do whatever they want with their crypto or keep that in the DAO or whatever. But if that money comes out, you have to deal with the government.
Mm-hmm. There's one thing, I'm with you, and I think you're right, that tax consideration, especially since they are a US-based company, I don't know if they have paths around that. Maybe there's ways to, I don't know, offshores, or I don't know how you handle that stuff, but you're right. That's a whole difficulty. But as I look at my prices for my cards today, and I see my values are, so my card values right now for my owned cards are at $35,349. And that is from literally 5 days ago, it's down 5%. And that's a big deal, man. 5 days, 5%. But
yeah, but this is all temporary. All the cards will start, finding their value once land comes out, I think.
Oh,
So
totally.
we just need to be patient there. I know it's good that you're pulling that up and looking at the numbers
Yeah.
because, you know, if you're looking at $900 in a few weeks.
Yeah, no, I'm with you, and that's almost my point. Like these prices will correct, but I also want to make the point, because we look at, you made the point. Look, the company can't be dependent on bull markets, bear markets. I agree, but I think that's a bit of an uphill battle fight with these guys because of who they are. But I think we need to have that fight. The DAO might need to, propose, and it would only ever be a suggestion, but it's like, hey, we are going to be your employer one day. The DAO will be Splinterlands, the company's employer. We expect the money we pay the company be held in USD for sustainability perspective or something like that. There are ways that we could, because we are going to negotiate with our contractor like we would like any employer would negotiate with any contractor. And so the reason I bring all that up is because I agree they shouldn't be dependent on bull markets for their continued success. But I'm drawing in the card values because I want to make the point that, man, crypto is a wild place, but card values have held way better than your favorite altcoin. Way better.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what altcoins people are into.
Card value is awesome.
Yeah. I mean, like there was no bull run for XRP. There really, in the altcoin season last, there was a bull run for ETH. There was a bull run for Doge and a couple other coins, and that was about it. And I'm saying there was a crazy run in card assets, and yes, they fell dramatically. I had probably $120,000 worth of cards, maybe it was 100, something in that neighborhood, and now we're at 35. So that's a huge decline, 65%, call it. That's huge, but it's not 99%. And truth be told, none of my altcoins, no substantive altcoin, booms happened for me at all. So I didn't even see a gain, a potential gain, let alone like ultimately I lost. So I'm saying like card values and are really interesting to me from a long-term perspective because I think there's a collector mentality here. There's a real enjoyment with the game. There's an actual perception from our player base, small though it may be, that there's a meaningful reward happening on a daily basis for the return, like out of the game, playing the game, tournaments, etc. And all that package of consideration and sort of value that this game represents means that the cards are more resilient than just the average altcoin. And so I'm not bearish on cards, even though they've gone down 5%. I like I said at the beginning of the outset of the conversation, I'm looking at like, what would it look like in my real world life to try and start moving in deeper in some of this stuff. I'm not there yet. I'm not ready to pull the trigger on something, but it's only because I don't have a ton of extra money. I'd have to get creative. I thought today I might start posting on Hive every day and just get like $1 a day, $2, whatever I can muster, just trying to create content, and so that I can start having one more path in
the game. You have, looking at your portfolio, you have 90% of the players saying, I wish I had a portfolio just like Infidel, right?
Yeah.
So you need to keep that in mind as well, and look at your total finances and say, okay, am I overexposed versus the money I have in my bank account or in Bitcoin and this and that, right? So you got to keep that in mind too, because again, I'm bullish on Splinterlands, but until we get that decentralization is not where I'll be super comfortable once that part starts getting dialed in. Right now, you're still depending on two people getting in a fist fight, going to jail, and then everything shuts down, right?
Yeah.
So, BitBoy crypto style or whatever is going on out there.
Yeah.
But no, that could happen. We're still dependent on humans, and until we get the nodes up and running and the servers all over the world, right? Or the nodes structured all over the world, and the game plan is well organized and visual to everybody. Not until we get to that point will I feel comfortable to move in bigger than I am now. Because if our assets were to 20, 30x, Splinterlands goes up. I do want a little more SPS. I'm trying to get to 1 million, so I'm on the road. I'm about halfway there. So that's on my agenda. So yeah, DCA in, and don't overexpose yourself. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Definitely wise. And I'm not even saying I want ape in. What I'm saying though is I have always argued that the assets in this game are interesting in that they revenue generate, like, and they're collectible and they're limited in number. Even if they're, you might say like Chaos Legion, there was too many of them. Reward cards, there was too many of them. They're still limited in number, and they're actually deflationary in nature because Chaos Legion is always shrinking because BCX are being burned. And again, it's useful to me on a daily basis to generate a little bit of SPS or generate a little bit of wins from tournaments, etc. Gladius cards through the merits that I earn from my gladiator brawl battles. So does that mean I'm going to sell the house? I'm going to sell, everything I've got and put it into cards just because, of course not. But, and you got to be discerning about all that stuff. But
what I suggest is getting multiple cards of really high quality cards, and when the market pumps, sell one of them and then use that money to go into other things. That's what I tend to do, and it works well. Yeah,
me too. I was looking back over the last, say, 2 years, and some of the ways I've grown. I bought on my main account, I bought 9,600 Chaos Legion packs, and on my secondary account, I bought 69,000 Chaos Legion packs, but that was because of a group buy that I facilitated with people. But my point in bringing that up is like, I didn't buy 10,000 personally. What I did was I bought, I think, 4,000 or something, and then sold them and bought new ones and sold them and bought new ones. And I ended up losing, some total number of packs, but I ended up getting more and more airdrops and more opportunities at some of the gold foil cards that were exceedingly rare, some of the legendaries that were exceedingly rare. And even you talked about what are they called, nodes. I bought 2 nodes. They were $1,500 ish because of the discounts associated with the vouchers, and then I later sold them for more SPS because of SPS price changes. So I've made moves in this game, and I always have, and I always will, with the assets I've got. And even recently, I acquired 500,000 DEC because I'm trying to prep for land, and but I did that through selling titles. I don't have a ton of money just sitting off the sidelines ready to just be deployed. I'm not that lucky. And so I'm preparing in other ways. And I think if you're wise, you can do the same.
Yeah. Hey, these new rewards cards are great, huh?
Yeah. Oh, dude.
Now that they're starting to max out.
Yeah. Big.
Yeah, like that one right there, dude. That card's brutal with that. What's the blue summoner? The
gladiator one,
where you can double trample.
Yeah. I know what you mean. The legendary. I don't know his name, but I know who you mean.
Platypus or something weird.
Let's talk about rank play a little bit. Well, I want to talk about rank play. I want to talk about, I'm switching into the Modern League. I want to talk about bronze, silver, because I'm having fun there. I want to talk about Gladius cards and how useful they have been in the rank experience. But quickly, before we do that, let's just say hello to the chat and see what's up. Guys, thanks for hanging out, by the way. I appreciate you. Woody, I saw you drop a comment on the valuations for the DAO. Thanks, man. Yeah, even if it was 250K, they're doing us a favor by splitting 50. I agree. Jason Jenkins, good to see you, bud. Team must be negligent to go almost bankrupt repeatedly. I don't know that they went almost bankrupt. I don't think that's the accurate definition or explanation of what happened. They recognize a future limitation for what the value they have, and they've laid people off with foresight. What you're implying is everything, they're ready to go bankrupt and they just fired people because that'll hopefully give them 6 more weeks. No, I think the vision is far more in the future than that. Although, to be entirely fair to you, Jason, it has taken them this long to make these layoffs, and they probably could have pulled the trigger on this maybe sooner. Any thought on that, Blaze?
100%. Jason's totally right. That's the feeling that he gave everybody, right? Both times.
Yeah.
And that's what I was talking about. It's all about manner and the way you handle yourself and business ethics, and some things you show and some things you don't. This whole abruptly we had to lay off, blah blah blah, and it's just what it is, and I know exactly what Jason's saying there. That's exactly what it felt like. Oh, they're crashing, it's dead.
Yeah. Pror says negligence is too strong a word. I would say miscalculated the market. And Jason pushed back saying, no, they've been close to 0 multiple times. That's not true. I know why you feel that way. because it seems so dramatic when they lay off like 50 or whatever employees and then another round of layoffs within the same year. I get it, but they were not like ready to go bust, and then they laid people off and suddenly they had more money. They had X money. They saw that runway, if they stayed operating as they previously were with the team they previously had, that runway would run out sooner than they want. And they made changes to stretch that existing dollar value. So that doesn't mean they were close to bankrupt. It means that they had X amount of funds and they're choosing to spend that in different ways with a reduced staff that are working, that's specifically around staff that aren't focusing on product creation and marketing, or profitability, like income, revenue. And so again, I think maybe you're just exaggerating a bit, or possibly you're just kind of misunderstanding like the finance situation.
I agree with Jason.
You're Jason, but that's yeah. Let's see. Everybody's surprised that you get your tax exempt over there, Portugal.
Yeah, I know.
I renounced says he's moving to Portugal.
Yeah, I renounced my American citizenship a long time ago just because of, future sight, and it was the best move I've ever made. But I can say that easily because I was a dual citizen already. I lived here when I was a kid. My dad's Portuguese, so it was just luck of the draw.
Did you hear, man, this was wild. California was like trying to implement like taxes. I don't know what they're called, the retroactive taxes. Like you leave California, you made income here, then you leave California and you move to Texas and your business thrives in Texas. Well, we want to slice that pie because you started here. Like, what? Are you crazy?
That's why I renounced, man. You keep going. Yeah. Imagine living here and them trying to tax you. I'm like, wait, that's not part of the rule books.
It's insane, dude. It's if you guys haven't read, you should read. Ayn Rand, what's it called? I'm always forgetting. She is a famous author and she wrote The Fountainhead, but Atlas Shrugged is the book I've read a couple times. It's very accurate in terms of how business is seen. The book, in short, I'll give you 1 minute why I think you might find value in it. You guys like crypto. You see the value in limited assets. You recognize what the governments are doing with fiat currency and they're printing too much of it. And Ayn Rand wrote this book and made it clear that big government is always trying to squeeze the businessman, the entrepreneur, for their free dollars so that they can bribe who they want to bribe so that they can stay in power. That mechanism of governance is just really concerning because it leads to corruption. It leads to cronyism. It leads to, entrepreneurs being pushed away or silenced. And we've seen that in the US with crypto markets and how they've tried to fight it and tried to resist it because they're so clueless about what the future could be and the opportunity that those entrepreneurs might bring to America if it was truly embraced, that they spit in the face of it. And so it's a really interesting book because she accurately kind of points to how the big government is kind of squashing some of the most innovative and entrepreneurial spirit that would allow our nation to thrive. I enjoyed it. You might enjoy it too. Check it out. Let's see. Oh,
yeah. So hey, real quick off topic. I live on a little island, right? And we have a great community here of people from all around the world. And we're all into permaculture a little bit. So we all have a little bit of everything. We all share. And there's no government involved. It feels so good. Like I grew a ton of watermelon this year and somebody else had avocados and we're just trading stuff and it's just so fun, like not having government all up in our business all the time.
Yes. Yeah. I'm definitely a small government guy. I would say I'm more libertarian, like in my bent. Like I think free exchange between individuals should always be permissible, even to their own detriment. Like I don't love, drug use. I don't love, I wish prostitution didn't happen, but man, I can't think of a logical reason other than like a spiritual one, which to me matters, but to you might not, that why those things shouldn't be permitted. And like, if you volunteer yourself and your services in those exchanges for revenue and someone else says, I'll pay and it's safe and it's, etc. I can't. Yeah, I have spiritual sort of reservations about that, and I would, if anybody ever cared, I would share that. But they aren't. If they don't care, they don't think about those things. I don't know how we say you shouldn't be allowed to do that. You shouldn't be allowed to do some sort of severe drug. I think it's a terrible idea, and I don't think you should. But you know what I mean? Like, that's where my head comes from. Like, all governance should be at the lowest level possible, which means that the individual should have primary, maximum amount of freedom making decisions that they see fit. And I think that is the sort of governance that makes sense. But that's
It's all broken.
how we live.
Yeah, the only thing I can say is I hope everybody just, understands that government isn't there to protect you, and you're your own individual, and don't ever get scared with government.
Yeah.
Don't, completely go off the wall and do stuff that'll get you in trouble, but do keep in mind that there's loopholes on everything, and you just have to study a little bit. And
That's right. That's the crazy thing, hey? Like, loopholes, like especially like taxes. You point out an example, a prime example. You move to a different nation and you get 0% tax on the profits that you're gaining from a product that you've invested in, and there's wisdom in knowing that, and knowing that you can explore these things, and then taking action to essentially position yourself to maximally benefit. And we all can do
understanding. Yeah, when you buy your car and you buy a house and you buy assets, you're contributing to the community, right? You're contributing to government. They tax like 24% here when you buy that kind of stuff, 18 on the islands and 23 on the mainland or whatever. But it's just that thing. Don't government takes too much, and I just hope you guys find the loopholes and not have it be such a burden.
Yeah, they're there to be found. They're there to be found, but you need to be like discerning and look for them. Let's circle back to, I got about another half an hour, and there's several other topics I was interested in getting into. Like I said, I'm moving to modern. I talked about Gladius kit cards, man. I really want to touch on those because they are super impactful.
Oh, they're getting OP now. Yeah, they're starting to gain traction.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say? Dang it. Lost it.
Where are you playing these days? You're playing daily?
That's what I was gonna say. I was going to modern, but man, I invested in so many fun wild cards that I miss them when I go. I'm like, where's this card? Where's my so I stayed on I'm in champ 3 right now on wild. And I'm not a huge fan of what Xbot did as well. I play about half the time, and then I let that run at night or something, because the rewards for me are at midnight. So if I'm in a situation where I can't, finish it off, I'll run the Xbot and have it, finish up my energy. Yeah. But I don't like when things go from infinite to, we're going to charge now. It's I understand that people need to make money, but sometimes there's a different approach for that. But
look at this beast of a card. I just maxed this out just this very second.
No.
So we go from 2 damage output with the bloodlust.
That was huge. Yeah, the 2 to 3 is insane.
Yeah.
Because two magic with 1 speed, and say they have anti-magic, that card becomes a dud.
Yeah, and the self-heal and the flight, this card is awesome. I guess what I want to say is that, man, Gladius cards are way better than some people seem to be acknowledging, first of all. And the second thing is that I really believe that you're going to set yourself apart in a massive, meaningful way if you're playing right now. Now, I think everybody in the chat is already playing as much as they can, earning as much as they can. But to me, what I'm blown away by is, like, I'm making the move to modern, and so I'm only in silver right now. But I've been, like, Xbot changed, and I'm just not on board with paying extra. I'd rather play myself. I'm gonna move. Most of my cards are modern anyways. I'm gonna move to modern, and I don't have like Kitty or Jotun, but they're gonna be cycled out soon enough. And I have an awesome Chaos Legions deck. I'm gonna try and get a Max Rebellion, and what I'm noticing though is if you look at this, like, where is it? Gladius Summoner, Soulbound Summoner, Soulbound Summoner, Soulbound Summoner, Soulbound Summoner, Soulbound Summoner. Like, they matter, man. They really impact the opportunity for victory, because those bloodlusts that you can bring in are so powerful.
Yeah, sorry, your screen's a little reduced on my end, but do you have what are you sitting at? I have a couple that are just a few cards off for being maxed out. Did you max out any of your summoners yet?
My summoners, I think I do. I think my, let me see. I'll check that in a second, but there's a way over
Okay.
here, tools, and then soulbound card monitor, and then infidel check rewards. So my soulbound cards are pretty high. Like I think mostly gold or diamond. It's not, there it is. So like 93%, 74%, 59%, 60%. Like my summoners are mostly, I'll show you here in a second. I got 2 minutes. Resurrect. Okay. This is now, mind you, this is, I'm still fighting in silver, so we're limited. But
Okay.
just actually, you know what? Just let me field this team, and then I'll try to figure that out. Because I think I've got level 7, level 7, level 7 for most of them.
Cool.
Resurrect, redemption. I don't know. I don't know. We went lob lowland. And we go 5. Nope, 6. I think this is not going to work. But I've been doing this a lot. It's too weak. I have too. Is it worth a shot? My speed is probably too slow. No, I don't think so. I've been doing a lot of that, but that's not going to work this time.
Gotcha.
Boom. Let's go magic.
I'm just looking for the day that we make battles more meaningful, right? So when land is implemented and you can do things like I was saying with audibles and like, bring in a magic spell that a bot won't have or somebody won't have because they didn't do the farming for it, and it gives you that edge,
Yeah.
and then you turn it into tournament style modes or season modes where it's just a group of elite players going at it, and you can do high risk stuff down the road too,
Yeah.
have some prizes at the end of the season which are like cards and all kinds of fun stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I think game modes are going to change a lot when we see Rebellion. I think we're going to see new abilities that are totally different. But we'll see. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think you're going to see new synergies. I think you're going to see summoners that do more than one splinter. I think you're going to see big changes to the gameplay experience. And so that's why I'm also excited to move into modern, because I don't have a ton of wild cards. I have to rent a ton of them. But the Gladius cards are so powerful in what they're able to do, even at the lowest levels. And I got them for free, but now I've almost got a max. Like I was saying, I've almost got a max set. Like, where are my summoners? Like, look, 7 on Octavius Shadow Meld, 7 on Helios Matriarch, 6 on Eternum Brune, 6 on Pembroke, 7 on Lob Lowland, 6 on Roof. So I'm like gold, diamond, and 1, 2. Oh, here we go. One more level up. We're here. So
Yeah, I love those gold
yeah,
ones.
because these matter, man. And the reason I think this is important to speak about is because, one, you can take action today and get these cards, these soulbound cards that will change your deck and set you apart in a meaningful way forever. Yes, one day they'll be made transferable, but they'll carry a higher price point than other cards because not all of them will be made transferable. So I don't think you're going to find these, like, quote unquote cheap in the future when they are sellable. And that's a long way off. You can earn them for free today. So then get them and then watch at the lower levels in particular how that changes what you're able to do, because you only need a few BCX to unlock great success at the lower leagues. And as hard as it has been to climb out of bronze into silver, it has been made a lot easier because I have a high level of Gladius cards that are helping me. Like, look at my wins. Like, I'm winning most of the. Okay, that was a 4-game loss. So I think I went 13 and 20 on this page. So that's not 100% amazing, but I'm not the best either. My point, I really think Gladius are important. Or sorry, I mean Soulbound Summoners are really important because they rope in those Gladius cards, which means that another level of the game, which is the guilds, gets that extra importance and that extra excitement because you get the merits, you get the cards. So yeah. Roll. Last time I went 5 and 3. Hopefully I can do the same.
I do hope that like they can find a way to keep some uniqueness for like magic abilities and not make so many cards you know that can do two or three things. Like for example, how I was envisioning land is we're going to be able to create something where we can bring one card from a different, flavor. So we can be playing water, but then bring a death guy over
Mm,
because we have that one and it burns that, right? Whatever we farmed, whatever you want to call it, trinket, something like that, it gets burned when we use it.
hmm.
I think that'd be super fun. Just add that dynamic where, yeah, again, adding variety
Yeah. Yeah.
options.
There needs to be a lot more variety, and I think that will come. I don't know how far off it is, but man, I'm eager for it too. And I think there's a path to really improving our game with just even relatively modest changes to how the game feels through like different abilities and different summoners and different sort of one-off changes, like with how you can engage the battle. But items and spells will be part of that, which means it brings us back to how important land is. Um, last 4 years. The YT, the TNA guild paying off as planned. Nicely building all your Gladius cards. Absolutely, my dude. Absolutely, it is. When the top guilds, Virus says, when the top guilds start maxing out their Glad cards, they will have a decent edge in higher leagues. Yes.
Oh, 100%. And that's how it should be, right?
Yeah.
Because we're the professionals at that point, right?
Yeah.
And that's just how it is.
And it's not there yet. Like I know there are some who have max. I forget who it was, but one of the YouTube content creators showed or featured they use Splinter cards because you can search anybody's deck here, and you can see what how complete they are. And somebody has been spending crazy energy. I forget what account it was, but they were like 100%, 100%, 95%, 95%, and it's because they see value in these cards. They see the value in setting yourself apart, having these bloodlusting Gladius cards that are, well, these are just the soulbounds, but the Gladius cards, and seeing my Gladius are nowhere near complete, by the way. Look at this, 25% down to 0 on the gold foil legendaries. But
check mine out really quick. I have no idea.
What's your account?
Blaze KOS.
Blaze KOS. Because cards like Isgald and Katrelba are like winners, man. If you get them going.
Yeah.
So you're a bit higher than me on some of these, including legendaries. What are some that you use often? Like there are cards in here that really win, aren't there?
Yeah, Quora.
Yeah. Quora. I use Captain Katie a lot.
Yeah, Captain Katie. That, what's a cool looking card is that death dude. You were there.
This guy?
Scroll down a little bit.
That guy?
Scroll down. Right, the legendary one. The second one to the right next to Larissa or whatever.
Larissa. Oh, this guy.
That one. Yeah, that card looks really cool. I don't know. I used it and it just it doesn't look like that when you're battling. It looked different.
I thought this one looks
cool card.
This one looks rad to me.
Okay.
But I often feel like people don't care about. I say all this. We spent 15 minutes talking about this, but one, I think it's important because you actually have a path to introducing a total distinction in your deck, which is an advantage for winning more often. And the opportunities in front of you now, because soulbound summoners that introduce gladiators are free. Just earn them for free with your time. And then two, that means there's extra utility in being in a guild. And I don't think most people get that. Like maybe everybody in this chat gets that, but for instance, like gladiator content, like I created a gladiator video, I think. Did I do that? Maybe I didn't post it yet. They just doesn't get
Gold
the same
Matters
views.
is going to get smoked, dude.
Is he? How come? What do you mean?
Because he's not in the guild.
Oh, good call. Yeah, you know what?
He has all these expensive cards, but he's going to get smoked by our Quoras and stuff.
That's true, dude.
Shots fired.
0%. Man, I love his content. Gold Matters is like always on Twitter.
Yeah,
Just,
it's too bad. Too bad Twitter doesn't have more activity. Like that's what I'm trying to get people out of Discord, and I'm tweeting a lot about Splinter. I can't do Splinterlands focus because I got a lot of other stuff going on. But
yeah.
it's a good. We all need to be there. That's how the world's going to get to know us if we get on there. Oh, hey, really quick before I forget.
Yeah.
Is there anything going on with the 2.0? Because there's a lot of good card games coming out with awesome graphics. And I know that's not a priority, and this is a different kind of game. But at least that 2.0 vibe, it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Did they just totally put that under the water or what?
I haven't heard them explicitly like say. I think that kind of falls under what Nate was saying recently. There was in the last town hall, the question was asked, is there something you can do for the new player experience, or is it good that all dead now because Weirdbeard's gone? That was the question roughly. And Nate got a chance to answer, and he said, it's not like we've ever stopped caring about the new player experience. And to me, I wrap this into the conversation around 2.0 because that's a visual change is part of improving the player experience. And also 2.0 is going to introduce new, I guess, battle mechanics. Even we talked at Splinterfest about how there might be, you can see the battlefield and then change something after the team has been submitted. And I think those things are coming. But I don't know if I think that's actually tied into Rebellion. I don't know if we've heard a clear answer as to, yes, that is tied into Rebellion, or Rebellion is going to include A, B, and C like features, but I'm pretty sure. And so, I've heard some things like unofficially, so I don't even know if it's true. I've like heard things through the grapevine that may be implying that is possible, is I guess is the best I could say. So I think it's still on the radar. I think it's still ultimately going to happen. It might even be part of Rebellion, but I don't know any of that for sure. There's a post here by Gold Matters. Speaking of Gold Matters, I was looking at this earlier and I like this. This is on Twitter, and he said, many folks will say, I was lucky. I was early. I was paid back enough. Like in the context of Splinterlands and his profitability there. And he goes, meanwhile, many of the same folks will not be willing to take a similar, maybe even less risk to buy dumping land assets currently.
He's totally right.
No one, including me, knows what the future value of assets will be, but I know what it was like to take that risk back then and how it felt. And then he showed an old post. Check this out. What an epic request. I couldn't find that particular image, but I found something else cool. Here is where everyone was panicking in the game about the FUD, the latest FUD circa 2020. And he picked up an Alpha Gold Foil Legion of Darkness for $220 amongst the fear. And it's like, that is, I think, where we're actually at. And that's why I came back. I said earlier, I'm interested in looking at what would it mean in my life to start buying more SPS, to start getting more cards. And I bring it all together with like the card assets have held up pretty darn reasonably, even in the bear. So it's like, man, now is the time if you believe. And again, like everything you said, reason, prudence, don't go crazy, don't go ape in. But man, DCAing has always been a smart move if you believe in what this game is or what you think it might be.
Yeah. Where I found success on Wax was, for example, I bought just about everything. Every project that looked like it could have potential I invested in. All you need is one to succeed, right? And that's it. And then everybody calls me lucky, right?
Mm-hmm.
Same with Gold Matter, same with you and your assets here in game, and Virus and everybody else has a nice bag. It's you can't win unless you enter. That's the bottom line. So have skin in the game, like everybody getting out of crypto. I have a lot of bags that I could have sold and bought back, but nope. I stake and forget about them, and then in 2 years I'll cycle back to them, and I'll add 2 if it dumps majorly, kind of like SPS. SPS, I'm just about time to add some more. I think I might push myself to 1 million here in the next few months if land looks like, if they deliver, if the team delivers. I'm giving Matt like 60 to 90 days to deliver something good, and then I'll come back in. and
Yeah.
get all crazy.
There's so much to be excited about. SPS is definitely a huge part of that for me. I'm over 200,000 now, and I am super loving it. Like
Wonderful.
I'm 220,000, and I've earned 22,000 SPS just from like playing and APR. In the recent history, like this is accumulating daily. Like there's 250 right there, there's 150 right there. This is just adding up and multiplying. So I want more of this. But man, land prices, like commons for $30, like one day I think we are gonna think this is ludicrous. And
There's a lot of land, 150,000 lands. We just need those users in order to that statement to be true. We need users.
I know, I hear you. I don't think it takes that many. I don't think we're talking like 5 million users. I think we're talking like 50,000 real users. And
Yeah, I'll get.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to tell you, Alien Worlds is a great example, right? You saw how I was successful in selling those and getting out into cash, right? When I saw the opportunity, and now they're selling for like $200 or $300, and they're this first or second biggest game on the blockchain. Yet they only have 3,250 lands or so, or 3,300 lands. That's it.
Yeah.
And they have over 200,000 bots or whatever and users, and yet the value of the land is now down to $200-$300. That could be a huge opportunity as well, because if TLM gets rolling again, you have that land producing daily. That could be an opportunity as well. So with 150,000 lands, it's just a huge difference. So when lands were $30,000-$40,000 on Alien Worlds, over here to get that, it's going to be the legendaries and the castles and the keeps.
Yeah.
But and then the other I like how they did the variety though. I like how there's magic, and then there's the occupied. I don't have any occupied, so I might go hunting for an occupied or two. That's what I want to keep an eye out for.
The occupied start at 240 right now, and that's for commons. And then they they quickly escalate into 300s, 400s for the rares. Epic is 1,000, starting at 1,000. These are all occupieds. Legendary occupied for $7,600 with the building in the box.
We have to understand the why though, right? Like, why is that value? What's going to be so special about land? And that's where we talked about. Well, let's get on more calls and spend time going down those rabbit holes. We really need to do that. Why are we excited about the future of Splinterlands, right?
Yeah. I wish there was, like, I just wish I had more money though. Like I can't put my money where my mouth is. Like I'm talking about how confident I am. I'm talking about how excited I am for the future, even in the middle of some turmoil. I look at these assets and I think, man, I wish, but I truly have no excess cash just sitting on the sidelines. It would take a flip of something else. If I could see an altcoin run outside of Splinterlands, I would be so overjoyed if I could see a boom in some of my altcoins that could let me move out of those into this in a deeper way. I would, because I don't plan to, like, I wouldn't go 100% ever, but if I saw suddenly a gain in my other portfolio, that would allow a redistribution into this. And I feel right now there's just so much reason to be nervous, and I'm not walking in that, but that others are, brings me back to that Twitter post. It's like what he's saying. They say you're lucky. They say you're early. They say, but it's like, no, I took the risk. I took the swing, and I wish I could take a bigger swing, even though my bags are pretty packed.
Yep. No, you'll be totally fine if this goes pump. I don't think you'll have that. You should have bought more. I mean, we all have it, but I don't think it'll be too high on your scale, because you have quite a big bag, so you'll be just fine. You'll be fine. Don't panic. But yeah, Luna went up 20% today. I can sell some rewards there and buy some land.
Nice. Stock Jockey said, I'm old. I agree with Gold Matters, dude. Yeah, patience, right? It's like you've seen, when with age you get that perspective of like, I've been here long enough that I know. It's like these things have rhythms, and it feels like sometimes, and I think to some people in our community, Splinterlands has been falling forever and it'll never stop falling. And to me, that's the bear market sentiment just weighing on our shoulders for years. But and I could be off, but I say, as I've always said, that I believe in the long term of what this is. I think this is a truly revolutionary. I think it's different. I think it's special. I think it's fun. I think it's rewarding. It's fun and rewarding. And I think so, you know, you just gotta, if that's so, if that's my opinion, I'm not gonna sell things. I heard somebody talking on a different stream, you know, if we go below a cent on SPS, would you be a buyer or a seller? I mean, I can't imagine selling SPS for less than a penny. Like, I'd have to be like, the kids would have to be starving for me to like liquidate my SPS bag for anything less than like 10 cents. And I wouldn't liquidate my SPS for 10 cents. I would just start selling a little just to buy some cards or whatever. But I'm in, like, I wouldn't get scared. I can't imagine, like, Baby Omega said this the other day, like, if the ship's going down, I'm going down with it. But I don't think it's going down. I'm super confident in where we're at, and so much so I want to put more in. But you need to have.
Matt said that on the last call, right? He was committed to this. I mean, this is why he wanted to make it decentralized from the beginning, and that's part of his goal. So I'm with him on his dream. You know, and once that happens, then that'll just be revolutionary for all of us, because then our SPS is going to matter, right?
I didn't hear this, but Paul says, don't forget Matt mentioned adding staking SPS on land to get bonuses. I didn't really.
I didn't hear that.
That's wild.
Yeah, no, same.
And then Virus said,
Virus.
You're asking about, like, we need to know more, and I think you're right, Blaze. And Virus says the Land 2.0 white paper could be eye-opening on what the value of magical and occupied plots will be. Like, starting to really unpack how it'll work and getting maybe introducing new excitement even. Hey.
Yeah, I think the fourth quarter is going to be great overall for our space, and I think once land is out, the community will gain confidence again.
Yeah.
So, patience. Back to the chat.
That's right. I have to get going, guys. I got my little girls have their meet the teacher tonight, so I'm going to meet both my girls' teachers. And but Blaze, thank you so much for coming to hang out. It was last minute. I just reached out. I saw Blaze on Discord. I said, "Hey, bud, you want to come out and have a chat?" And we talked on a lot of things today. A little bit of the disappointment, a bit of like some of the future hopes for, you know, even decentralizing how we create new content, because there's ways for that. I hope something's being heard here. I hope someone's actually listening from Splinterlands that, like, we would be happy. You probably just laid off 50 different Splinterlands TV content creators. Give them some sort of like authority to create something, whether it's content, t-shirts, I don't know, man, even videos, you know, etc. Like there are people that are ready to move and be creative for the team. Let's start unlocking that. It's going to help our community come together, be excited. It's going to save on Runway, because you're not going to be necessarily directly paying. You might just be paying some sort of commissions. I hope that's being heard, and I hope something like that will take effect. And I hope we don't lose content on YouTube like we're losing on Twitch, because, man, there's people who love this. Guys, create your own channels, cover this stuff. Let's talk about it. People are here for 2 hours talking with me. And if After Sound went live next, and if Gank went live after that, you know, you guys would stick around, because this community is avid. We're livid even. So get involved, guys. Thanks for hanging out today. I appreciate all of you. Paul, Ank, Virus, Deuce, you're here since the get-go. Stock Jockey, Jenkins, Blaze. Just thanks, guys, everybody. Appreciate you all. Blaze, anything you want to say?
Thanks. Yeah, thanks for having me on. And everything I said, looking left, was constructive criticism. I don't mean any, you know, bad intentions to the team or anything like that. I'm just pointing out what I've seen over the years and where we can improve. And I'm on. We're all on the same team here. We all want this to move forward. So they have my support, and I'll be here. I just I love seeing plan of actions, and like Virus said, the 2.0 white paper is gonna be great to help get us motivated again. But really enjoying it, and I'm here to hang out, and I enjoy this community very much. Thanks for having me on, man.
Absolutely, guys. Thanks so much.